Good afternoon. This is Media Center, Ukraine, Odessa. We have only one briefing today, but it is very important. It is dedicated to privatization of the second state-owned seaport, Bilhorod-Dniester Sea Trade Port. The auction is going to start right now. But before, I would like to give floor to Oleksandr Slavskyi, head of the regional branch of the State Property Fund of Ukraine in Odesa and Mykolaiv regions, and Oksana Kiktenko, acting director of state-owned Bilhorod-Dniester Sea Trade Port. The floor is yours. Good afternoon, everyone. This is the second state-owned port that was put for privatization according to the existing regulations. I would like to remind that the privatization process of the previous port, Udesa, has been almost finalized, and now we are preparing the sales contract. The auction to privatize of the state-owned enterprise Bilhorod-Dniester Sea Trade Port has started just a couple of minutes ago, and we have now 3 participants, and the biggest bid now is 122,800,000 hryvnias. And now I would like just to explain why this privatization is taking place. This is the second attempt. The starting price was 93,687,000 hryvnias, and you can see now that the current bid is bigger. The port is located on the right bank of the Dniester estuary, or Liman, in 20 kilometers from the Black Sea. It has 9 berths of the length from 80 to 185 meters, and the passport depth near the berth wall up to 6.5 meters. The berths are still owned by the state, namely by the Ukrainian seaports authorities. The port also includes the port point Buhas. You can see it when going to Zatoka and crossing by the bridge. We could even see back then several cranes. It is located on the coast of the Black Sea and has 1 berth, and there is also the recreation base Priboy of these 1,700 square kilometers in Zatoka. The winner will also pay 20% of VAT, and the overdue account payable of the port as of the 30th of September 2022 is more than 100 million hryvnias. I think that now the amount is a bit bigger. And now I would like to give floor to the acting director, Oksana Kiktenko, to tell some details about the activities of the port. Good afternoon, everyone. As the manager of the port, has recently met with the employees of the port, and we are happy that the auction is finally there, because we have done a lot to prepare to privatization. We have managed to solve a lot of challenges and issues. And I'd like to say that the port is great, and this case is great because it includes all facilities needed to provide the whole cycle of the services that could be provided by the port operators. And perhaps this is a unique case. There are no other port operators on the territory of Bilhorod-Dniester port, and I think that there are no port operators in Pivdeni port. No, as far as I know, we're the only port now having no other port operators. There is only one Stevider, the state-owned enterprise. The complex includes all needed checkpoints, communications, all warehouses needed, vehicles, gantry cranes, railways. There is even a small port fleet. and the new owner will be able to organize business there right away. As for the activities of our enterprise, I would like to say that the financial indicators significantly improved in 2022 because we were able to restore its economic operations, and that was significant breakthrough for this enterprise because for the last decades the situation was deteriorating in the port as for a cargo flow. But in 2022, the handling operations reached up to 272,000 tons of different types of products, and actually port provided services as a dry port. Unfortunately, under the current conditions, we cannot accept right now commercial vessels, but the dredging operations are ongoing, and this is one more advantage of the port, and this will allow to ensure vessel calls to our port. We have renewed the infrastructure of the port. We have repaired 5 gantry cranes. We have received the documents needed. We have repaired the railways and other equipment. So it is a fully operational enterprise. All is needed is to conclude new contracts and to develop its capacity. And its capacity can reach up to 1 million tons annually without any reconstructions. But after restructuring, after constructing some new bases, it can reach the amount of 2.5 million tons. Can you explain what is a dry port to our audience? Dry port also envisages the handling of cargo with different types, but without using the waters of the port. So we can accumulate cargoes, so we can unload, upload cargoes, and usually we ship cargoes to the Danube ports. The operations are quite successful. The customers are fully satisfied with the services provided. So the process is ongoing. So this is kind of a platform for transshipment of cargoes. Yes, kind of a hub, like Bilhorod-Dniester hub. Yes. And as far as I understand, after the start of the full-scale Russian aggression, when the operations of the Black Sea ports were limited, the Bilhorod-Dniester port received opportunities, additional opportunities that it can use. Yes, we can say that as a result of the war, but not with the help of the war. But I'd like to say that at the beginning of April, the port was not able to provide services it provides now. And I have already explained that the infrastructure was in a very bad condition, and I would like to thank the employees of the port that continued improving the situation without additional investments, even without salary. So they just ensured the recovery of the enterprise. But anyway, the port requires a lot of investments for the further development. And the conditions for the work of Oksana and her staff, it is very difficult conditions, and the port needs significant investments for dredging, for recovery of the facilities, and as far as I understand, not all gantry cranes are now operative, as well as the vessels there. So there are some challenges there, and the state decided to put this facility for privatization 3 years ago. And actually, looking for a private investor who could recover the full-fledged activities in the port. And we hope that the privatization will result in this and will ensure the competitive salary for the employees of the port and will solve some other issues. And that will become a prerequisite for a successful development economy in the region in general. If there are some now technical opportunities for us to see the auction. Oksana, can you comment what we see here? We can see now 3 participants, and the starting price was 93,787,000, and you can see that the participants can increase their bids, and the biggest bid now is 122,800,000 hryvnias, and we can see the results of the first round, which is 155,100,000 hryvnias, which is the biggest bid during the first round. And I think that the price, that the bid will even increase during the second and the third rounds. Could you please remind our audience and journalists how long the auction will take? 1 hour, 40 minutes? This auction, we'll stop this auction at 1:08 p.m. And as for the auction itself, it is a protected system preventing any possible administrative interventions. And now we can see 3 participants, number 1, number 2, number 3. And this allows to prevent any type of administrative pressure on the participants. The State Property Fund and the journalists could not know the number of participants as well as journalists. The whole list of participants and their bids will be published together with the technical protocol of the auction. So at 1 p.m. After 1 p.m. we will be able to publish this information as soon as the auction is over. At 8 or 9 past 1. As for the previous auction, Uzdonaisk, there were 8 participants. So the competition here is not that intensive as for the previous auction. Yes, but there are some economic prerequisites for this. These ports cannot be compared because the initial price was less for Uzdonaisk. The overdue accounts payable were less comparing to this port, and that was an operative port. And the buyer can use it right away. As for Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky port, the situation is different. It is not operative as a port because it's operative as a dry port. And I'd like to just to remind that this is not the fault of the Bilhorod-Dniester port because Uzdonaisk port is open for navigation. Yes, that's what I've mentioned. That's what I meant. The geographical location of Uzdonaisk is more beneficial than the Bilhorod-Dniester port, and that is an acting port operator as a port itself, and the overdue accounts payable were less, and in 2022 it was a profitable port. Yes, in our port we also has already started getting some profits. As Oleksandr has mentioned, we're 2 different port operators. Bilhorod-Dniester Sea Trade Port has more developed facilities, including 9 berths, for example. But due to changes at the markets, it is possible to securely work there. In our case, the situation is different. There are still some challenges that should be solved for ensure full-fledged operation of our port. And I can agree with Oleksandr that the decision of the state to have Bilhorod-Dniester Sea Trade Port privatized is the best decision, because this port requires investments now. And we know that the state cannot invest in commercial enterprises. And to solve the problems that we have now, and for us to ensure any prospects for future development, we need investments. And not only our staff is closely following the auction, but the whole city, because this port is very important for the economy of our city, the city of Bilhorod-Dnistrovsky. And I hope that the privatization of both ports will boost the economic development of both regions. Yes, before that, this enterprise was not very flexible, because we need business people to manage such facilities, people who know how to earn money. And the privatization of both ports and the development of both ports will ensure significant opportunities for the region and agriculture in the region, in both regions. This region is called Ukrainian Bessarabia, and the possibilities for these regions were rather limited even before the full-scale invasion, because these ports are the smallest in Ukraine. But as a result of the full-scale invasion, Ukrainian Bessarabia, or Budjak, as it also called, will get a significant boost for its development. Thank you. We will closely follow the auction together, and we have published the link to the auction in the announcement of our Telegram channel. This is it for now. We will closely monitor the situation, and we hope that we will be able to get the information about the winner, the company that will be responsible for the development of the port and the region in general. And as soon as we get the information, we will publish it in our Telegram channel and also on our website. So please stay tuned. This week and the next week we have some interesting events for you.